Just like Pinot, at this point I needed a lie down. The game was insane. Proper rugby. Hello and welcome to a warning. Unfortunately, this week there will be heightened levels of Bok fan smugness. Even I, an award-winning chill rugby dude, has lost all connection to modesty, and from now on I will be punching down on all the lesser rugby nations. I know these good vibes won't last, and pain is scheduled for the future. Sometime. I don't know exactly when. So please do not bookmark this video for future karmic purposes, and let's just get into the Autumn Nations series and all the games that happened over the past weekend. Cue the music! What's up, Ireland? Couldn't even put 60 points on Japan? The Boks did. And you couldn't even stop them from scoring 10 points. The Boks did. Couldn't even dispel fears that Father Time eventually comes for even our greatest heroes, thereby shining a light on our own mortality and frailty, forcing us to consider that one day we might not be valuable to society, to our employers, and that we might even be a burden to our closest family members? The Boks did. The record stands. New Zealand have defended their northern fortress despite a spirited siege from host Scotland. This was a banger of a game, with New Zealand putting up a score early on in the game and then Scotland fighting back to get the scores level later on in the match. It needed a very good cameo of Damian McKenzie coming off the bench to save the All Blacks and keep their record alive. As I always say, Scotland have the backline talent to match anyone in the world. It's those 14 or so forwards that they put on the field that cannot keep up across 80 minutes. They need at least one more world-class lock and probably a hooker and a prop from somewhere so they can win more of these tight ones. I hear there's a bunch lying around here in South Africa. Time to pull out the checkbook. England, they do not often lose to teams they aren't supposed to. Case in point, their record against Italy. And it was the same with Fiji this past Saturday, even though Fiji put up a pretty good fight, and it's clear that their set piece and maul game has improved and stayed up well. England still play like a team that's very data driven, and if you put an anomaly in front of them, the machine breaks down a little bit and they can look a bit silly. For an example, look at the Fiji exits this past weekend. Instead of doing the normal box kick off 9, they went back to the 10 who kicked it long and kept it in. England did not know what to do with this, and they had Alex Mitchell running it back into Joshua Tuisova. It looked dumb. But they got that data, and half time they processed it. So they had Ben Earl helping with the carry back in the second half. Data, solution, profit? It is easy to say after the fact, but I did think Italy would beat the Wallabies this past weekend. In Zuliani, they have one of the best jacklers in the world. They also have a maul now that made the Boks look stupid early in the year, and in their wingers, they had two guys who would have been very eager to put one over their schoolmates. And so they did. This is just the new reality we live in now. Italy are favourites against the Wallabies when they are in Italy, and the Boks are better than both these sides combined. Smug! Speaking of the Springboks, the world tuned in on Saturday nights to see if they were any better than the Six Nations champions France on their home patch in Paris. I myself was quite worried last week that the younger, hungrier French pack and their replacements could blow the Bok pack off the park, and it looked like the Boks were just hanging on for dear life for the first 40 minutes. Some of these rucks were war zones with counter rucking fights, just stopping the attack and slowing the game down, keeping the pressure on Quibus and the whole backline of the Boks. The French also reused the Six Nations tactics of mauling the absolute shit out of every line-out ball they won to try and put some exhaustion into the Bok legs. But with the way the Boks were defending those mauls, you could tell they were expecting it and they were stopping it pretty quickly. For the scrum, the Boks did at least look like they had a clear advantage. It just doesn't seem like there's a team in World Rugby right now that can put out two front rows that can compete over the whole 80 minutes. New Zealand couldn't do it, the Aussies couldn't do it, and now the French couldn't do it. We'll see about Ireland later. The backlines were more even, and for pure speed, you couldn't do much better than Arendse, Colby, Penode, Biaised, Grant Williams, Ranach, and Sasha van Zulu all on the pitch at the same time. That's just pace. Because of the ruck battles though, it looked like the Boks really struggled to get the ball wide, and Jesse Creel only touched the ball at like 50 minutes, or at least it felt like that. France did not really have the same backline issues. In Ramos, they have a Willy Leroux type that's younger, faster, and more French in the best way. And his kicks and passes linked up with Pinot so well that they had a nice little early 2-try blitz. It was very worrying. Eventually though, the Bok fitness, experience, and just more balance between their starters and their bench side came to the fore. The Bok backline started firing, the rucks cleaned up, and the mauls. My goodness, the beauty of those mauls. They were just so tight, so together, and they were pushing through the French like they were an icebreaker. It's just, what beauty. And we can all now emphatically say that the Boks are the better team, which is a very cool conclusion to come to for someone in my position, but the journey to that conclusion was really the good part. What a fucking game. Magic rugby. The French can put on a show. And finally on Sunday we had Wales getting pummeled by Argentina. It wasn't even hard for them. They came to town and showed why they've recently beaten the Wallabies, the All Blacks, the Springboks, France, and many more. And what's even worse is that Wales' best player is now injured. Fuck me, what a situation. Let's just get out of here and onto the games coming this weekend before we all get depressed. First up, Italy's Giuliani gets another chance this weekend to steal unprotected ruck ball from the box. Let's see if they can turn those into points. Please don't maul us for 30 meters again. After that, we'll have the very tasty matchup of England versus New Zealand. And we're all still waiting for the Telegraph video showing all the illegal tactics New Zealand uses at the rucks, because that's what we do now, right? Wales versus Japan at the same time, or after that, I don't know, I haven't checked the times. But this will further solidify if Wales are in the top 12 or not for the World Cup draw. Though I don't really think that makes much of a difference for these teams. Then another fun one, Ireland versus the Wallabies. Now Ireland should take this, but the Wallabies have been troubling them over the last few years. We'll see if it happens again. They do have some picking up the pieces to do. It'll be teammates versus teammates for France versus Fiji, and then we get another banger in Scotland versus Argentina on Sunday. I will definitely be tuning in for that, if my wife lets me. We are fully ensconced in the Autumn Nations series now. You gotta enjoy it. This is like proper fun fucking rugby. I love it. Now, there isn't really any news to tide me over until the weekend, unless you think predicted squads or injury reports are news. I don't. And Rassi has not announced his team yet. I don't know what's happening there. So, that leaves one last thing. The man Gaza, father to the legend 2 Cents Rugby. We are all thinking about you guys and your families as you battle with leukemia during this tough time. Just know that we have loved all the voice notes and the 12 out of 20s and the chats from a true old school All Blacks fan. Know that in your son Mark, you have someone you can be super proud of. And the world is a better place knowing him and having seen you two talk about your love for the sport of rugby. I know I could chat with my dad about it for hours and hours. Bye. I'll see you next week.